Staff Handbook, a guide for all CEAC outsourcing COCL employees. Introduction. This presentation will seek to provide clarity on matters relating to our established policies, procedures, benefits and working conditions. The presentation will serve as a reference tool for you in your employment with CEAC outsourcing. However, you should familiarize yourself with the policies and procedures contained in the Staff Handbook. Course outline. The following areas will be covered: Manager's Message, Core Values, Terms of Employment, Compensation, Workplace Commitments and Policies, Termination of Employment and Notice, General, Grievance Procedure, Disciplinary Procedure, focusing on the Disciplinary Code and Actions. Manager's Message. We are pleased to be a part of this vibrant and dynamic group, aimed at transforming the way we travel across Jamaica. How we conduct ourselves will set the precedents for others to follow. Our future employees are encouraged to adopt our strong ethical values: tolerance, commitment, solidarity, and expertise. Core values. Our core values are people. Quite simply, a company is its people. At CEAC Outsourcing, we're dedicated to giving our people a wealth of opportunities to reach their full potential. Excellence. Everything we do at CEAC Outsourcing is driven by an unyielding passion for excellence and an unfaltering commitment to develop the best services available. Change. In today's fast-paced global economy, change is constant and innovation is critical to a company's survival. Integrity. Operating in an ethical way is the foundation of our business. Everything we do is guided by a moral compass that ensures fairness, respect and transparency. And co-prosperity. A business cannot be successful unless it creates prosperity and opportunity for others. Terms of employment. Your employment contract may be one of three types: permanent, fixed term, or service contract. COCL may hire contractual employees for specific positions or for special projects. Contractual employees are hired for a fixed period of time, usually less than 6 months, or for the duration of a specific project. Part-time and contractual employees are not entitled to the full benefits granted to regular employees. Hours of work. Generally, hours of work will be determined based on the client or the location to which the staff is posted. The actual days and times will be specified in the respective staff contract for the particular employee. Please refer to your employment contract for the details. Punctuality. All employees must be punctual for work. Anticipated delay in arriving to work should be communicated to the responsible manager and/or other appropriate management personnel. Compensation. Our key principle is to provide salaries and benefits that are fair and competitive in the relevant national and local context. The total compensation package is designed to attract and retain qualified people to fulfill the organization's mandate. Payment will be made fortnightly or monthly depending on job function/position. See your contract for your payment type. Workplace commitments and policies. Non-discriminatory policy. It is the policy of COCL to employ and engage with staff in a non-discriminatory manner. No person will be denied employment on the basis of their religion, ethnic origin, color, political affiliation or sexual orientation. Non-harassment policy or non-discrimination policy. COCL has a zero-tolerance limit with regards to harassment and violence. Employees or volunteers engaging in either harassing or violent activities will be subject to discipline, which may include termination of employment, removal from boards or committees, and possibly criminal charges. Harassing conduct includes, but is not limited to, epithets, slurs or negative stereotyping, threatening, intimidating or hostile acts, Denigrating jokes and display or circulation in the workplace of written or graphic material that denigrates or shows hostility or aversion toward an individual or group based on their protected characteristic. Dispute resolution. Regrettably, conflict can occur in any working environment. In an effort to resolve conflict in an expedient, yet fair manner, Cockle recommends the following process for conflict or dispute resolution. Speak to the person you are having the dispute with. Many times disputes arise due to misunderstandings and miscommunications. If speaking to the individual does not work, speak to your supervisor or managing director who will arrange a meeting between those involved in the dispute to determine the resolution. If the MD is unable to resolve a workplace dispute, the parties may be referred to mediation by an outside third party. The resolution of the mediator is binding on both parties of the dispute. Drug-free or alcohol-free environment. Employees are prohibited from unlawfully consuming, distributing, possessing, selling, or using controlled substances while on duty. In addition, employees may not be under the influence of any controlled substance, such as drugs or alcohol, while at work, on company premises, or engaged in company business. Prescription drugs or over-the-counter medications, taken as prescribed, are an exception to this policy. Anyone violating this policy may be subject to disciplinary action, up to and including termination. Professional conduct. This company expects its employees to adhere to a standard of professional conduct and integrity. This ensures that the work environment is safe, comfortable and productive. Employees should be respectful, courteous, and mindful of others' feelings and needs. General cooperation between coworkers and supervisors is expected. Individuals who act in an unprofessional manner may be subject to disciplinary action. Dress code. An employee's personal appearance and hygiene is a reflection on the company's character. Employees are expected to dress appropriately for their individual work responsibilities and position. Where items of uniform is provided, they are to be worn unless specifically permitted to do otherwise. To assist employees in choosing their attire, enumerated below are the prohibitions, for both men and women. Backless, see-through, midriff tops or tube tops, spaghetti-strapped blouses, extremely short skirts shorter than mid-thigh, shorts, low-cut blouses, or torn-off shirts and pants. Visible undergarments. Garments adorned with multiple metal, glass or other objects. Shorts or any type of shorts. Rubber/leather sandals and slippers or alike. House slippers, flat sandals should have straps. And bare feet. And anything that can be considered offensive, revealing or unkempt by your supervisor and/or manager. Company property. Company property, such as equipment, vehicles, telephones, computers, and software, is not for private use. These devices are to be used strictly for company business, and are not permitted off grounds unless authorized. Upon termination, employees are required to surrender any company property they possess. Company computers, internet and emails are a privileged resource, and must be used only to complete essential job-related functions. Employees are not permitted to download any pirated software, files or programs and must receive permission from a supervisor before installing any new software on a company computer. Files or programs stored on company computers may not be copied for personal use. Employees are reminded that they should have no expectation of privacy in their use of company computers or other electronic equipment. Violations of these policies could result in disciplinary action including termination. Termination of employment and notice. These include resignation and notice, and dismissal. Resignation. This must be communicated in writing to the manager/supervisor. An exit interview will be conducted. All outstanding payments will be settled and recovered if necessary. Cockle property must be returned at this point. Outstanding task must be handed over to supervisor or manager prior to leaving. Dismissal. Offense that are classified as gross misconduct. This is outlined in the Disciplinary Code section of the Staff Handbook. After a charge is laid against an employee, an investigation will be conducted. A meeting will be held with the employee, his or her representative of choice, and the relevant HR personnel. Findings will be summarized and the necessary action taken. General. Other employment. It is strictly forbidden for employees to accept any full-time employment with another organization while being employed to Cockle. Employees involved in short-term and temporary work assignments elsewhere must first declare this to Cockle and ensure that there is no conflict of interest. Employment with entities that are considered to be Cockle's competitors is strictly forbidden. It is expected that all employees will give first priority and full focus to Cockle's work requirements at all times. All employees must comply with the current Internet use policy. Unacceptable behavior. Visiting Internet sites that contain obscene, hateful, pornographic or otherwise illegal material. Fraudulent activities. Revealing confidential information. Confrontational or boisterous tone. Grievance procedure. Cockle will treat all employees who wish to raise an individual work-related grievance or complaint fairly and without prejudice. Any employee who believes he/she may have been the subject of unfair or unlawful discrimination, racist or sexist abuse or harassment, should raise his or her concern using the prescribed grievance procedure. Grievances of this nature that may involve or implicate an employee's manager should be reported directly to the Human Resource Officer. Any employee or group of employees has the right to discuss their grievances with management at any time. Grievances should be discussed with the immediate supervisor, the manager where applicable, and the Human Resources Officer. Disciplinary procedure. We believe it is important to make sure that all employees are treated fairly and that disciplinary actions are prompt, consistent and impartial. The major purpose of a disciplinary action is to correct the problem, prevent it from happening again, and prepare the employee for satisfactory performance in the future. Disciplinary action may be any of the following 4 steps. Verbal warning, written warning, suspension without pay, or dismissal, termination of employment. Disciplinary code and actions. 1. Failure to report to designated work area at the required time. First offense. Verbal warning. Second offense. Written warning. Third offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Fourth offense. Dismissal. 2. Being late without reasonable cause. First offense. Written warning. Second offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Third offense. Dismissal. 3. Absence from duty without reasonable cause. First offense. Written warning. Second offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Third offense. Dismissal. 4. Leaving work area without proper authorization and/or leaving before assigned quitting time. First offense. Written warning. Second offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Third offense. Dismissal. 5. Absence without leave or cause for 3 consecutive days. First offense. Dismissal. 6. Improper use of sick leave or producing fraudulent sick leave certificate or tampering with sick leave certificate. First offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Second offense. Summary dismissal. 7a. Failure to record time at start and finish of work period. First offense. Verbal warning. Second offense. Written warning. Third offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Fourth offense. Dismissal. 7b. Clocking in or out of work for another employee. First offense. Summary dismissal. 7C. Tampering or altering any time records of the company. First offense. Summary dismissal. 8. Insubordination, for example, refusal to follow supervisor or manager's instructions, disrespectful speech or behavior towards a manager or supervisor. 8A. Not submitting to legal authority, disrespectful or disobedient behavior. First offense. Written warning. Second offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Third offense. Dismissal. 8B. Gross insubordination. First offense. Summary dismissal. 9. Failure to carry out supervisor or manager's or department head's legal and lawful instructions without reasonable excuse. First offense. Written warning. Second offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Third offense. Dismissal. 10. Intentionally slowing down of work. First offense. Written warning. Second offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Third offense. Dismissal. 11. Failure to follow company job instructions. First offense. Written warning. Second offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Third offense. Dismissal. 12. Persistent inefficiency, poor or inadequate performance. First offense. Verbal warning. Second offense. Written warning. Third offense. 3 days suspension without pay. Fourth offense. Dismissal. Conclusion. At the end of this presentation, you should be able to identify the company's core values, understand the terms of employment, understand our workplace commitments and policies, and understand the disciplinary code and actions.